you get Seth to laughing. We went and saw it was the Big Lebowski one time. Seth, come here. You're on. It was the Big Lebowski. I've got two movie stories about Seth. I know I've told one. The first one, like 25 years ago, me, him, and Steve go to like the grand opening of the Titanic. And, you know, when Leo, the second Titanic reference of the day, that's interesting. I hope that, hope that doesn't have to do with A&M tomorrow, but we're watching it, and Seth, I'm sitting between these two. I'm holding popcorn. They're both reaching and fighting for it the whole movie. Seth starts crying. He's like a freshman in college. Yeah, he's crying. And
came out what, 96?
It might have been in high school. And he's so Drew Brees is his left tackle sitting here crying, and Steve in the quiet part, like Leo's dead. And Steve goes out as loud as you can go. And you think about back one day, you'd have movie premieres. And Steve looks at Seth with just the utter disgust that only a big brother can do to his little brother and said, "Are you crying?"
It was a sad part of the movie.
This
Come
is
on.
true. Are you actually crying?
The guy
like the whole
died.
theater, they're like, shh.
And what's the girl's name?
Jack Dawson died.
No, I know, but what's the girl's name?
Rose.
Rose could have saved him easily.
Yeah, she could have.
There was room on that door.
And then the other time Seth caused an incident in a movie was Big Lebowski when they're throwing the ashes of their buddy away over the mountain, and he pours the ashes out and they all blow right in Lebowski's face.
I've never watched The Big Lebowski.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
Seth is an all-time. Thank you. I'm trying to match the shirt.
Wow.
That's for you, Billy.
Hey,
I like
Steve, the nerdery call. They want their socks back.
So Seth is an all-time movie partner.
Okay.
I mean, he's the guy that in scary movies throwing popcorn over the air.
I remember that was the opening of
Scream.
Steve and I went. I'll never forget. I was just sitting there. I got a
more
big thing of
entertaining than
popcorn.
the movie half the time.
I got a big popcorn sitting in my lap. And it's like the opening scene, when Drew Barrymore's on the phone and then she gets killed. And I was like, spilled the popcorn all over myself.
Meanwhile, Nuno won't watch those type movies.
I would Scream.
Did you go watch The Big Lebowski? So, come on.
Just the
watch
hair.
It.
Just
Watch
in
it.
that mood.
What about my hair? Do I put you in that?
Sometimes.
Watch
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Watch it, please.
Hey, can we talk about players to watch in this game? Do you have anybody in particular that you want to see, or do you want me to throw you some people?
I would like to first ask out of y'all two, how familiar you must watch the SEC shorts.
What's up? Yeah,
regularly.
I tried.
You just missed them. They were here.
Oh, when we were in Alabama, we saw them. Remember, we saw them.
He's the guy.
Yeah,
I told him about it. Yeah. Steve probably.
I've seen them. I mean, I haven't seen them recently, but I haven't watched any this year.
Okay, well, it's been. Go watch the post Miami one. It's pretty good.
It's good.
It's the Grim Reaper one.
I feel like watching.
They always send in Hope, man.
Well, yeah, Hope wasn't here. So here's my thing. This should be a really fun year for them with the way the SEC is going.
Yeah.
Talk about a ton of content. Who are y'all's play? You want me to tee it off?
Sure.
Am I picking one or
You can pick 2, 3. I don't care. It's a conversation.
Players to watch for me? I'm going to stay away from the obvious, like
Connor.
Yeah, the Connor. I think I think
leave that for me.
Evan will be back. The players to watch for me will be. I want to see Edgerrin Cooper and Torian York. Maybe this be a little bit of a coming out party for Torian York, because I think Auburn's going to run it, and they're going to try to get some quicker throws mixed in there, and they're going to maybe test what Miami was able to do, which is hit things, the crossers and things like that. And that's where I think those linebackers, between that and how much Auburn's going to try to establish a run game, particularly I think Auburn is going to test out and see if A&M can set a good edge on defense, or if they're going to be weak on the perimeter tackling. And so I think that's where they're going to try to hit the Aggies, and that's where those linebackers, both of those guys, are going to have opportunity to make a lot of plays and a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
You got one?
Yeah, man. My player to watch is an offensive lineman, Shocking.
Mhm.
Usually Seth would do this.
I'd pick all of them.
All line. But I'm going to actually single out one guy.
Okay.
I'm going to call out my guy, Layden Robinson, War Daddy,
Okay.
because this was where he had his coming out party about 3 years ago, I think. Maybe
Was it?
Maybe 4. I can't remember. Maybe 4. His redshirt freshman year in Auburn, where he gained the nickname.
South Carolina.
Was it South Carolina?
But your point still stands.
Point still stands. Thanks, Billy, for pointing that out.
I just did a noon. I mean,
Do I do that?
I didn't know.
You got to be factual. Or
That was a Gabe. Now it's a Brawny thing.
Now it's a
you can't-
Liucci thing.
But Nuno will do this when you say it. If you have
I'll give
any
it to him.
pause,
Google.
you'll go. You know what are you talking?
No,
You know when I'm going to the Google. It's
Yeah.
quick. I start paying attention.
So now I'm like, don't correct me. I could be wrong, but you
Could
get
be
what
wrong.
I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be Layden Robinson's coming out party
Okay.
this
Okay.
this season. You know, I think he's played well at times, but I think this is the game where we need the offensive line in particular to really step up. I think their secondary is vulnerable, no question, and we have such a explosive passing game that could be where we make our hay. But if Auburn comes at us the same way Miami did, where they say, we're going to take away the deep ball, we're not going to let you guys beat us down the field with explosive plays. We're going to force you to run the ball, beat us with our front seven. I think that's where the offensive line has to really step up this week. If we can run the football effectively, I'm talking 4+ yards a carry, we'll beat Auburn by 2 touchdowns. I have
Love
no doubt.
I'm with you on that. I talked about the D line and how they need to dominate a patchwork Auburn O line. Auburn's had some issues up front. The Aggie offensive line, I don't think necessarily needs to dominate, but that is the position that I think we need to see the most improvement from the last time they played a Power 5.
Yeah.
I mean, the secondary, obviously, but I mean, to me, the O line, they were all right at times against Miami. Like you watch it, and a lot of times they were outnumbered, and
Yeah.
but this O line needs to have a really good game.
yeah. If
Saturday.
the offense has a weak point, that would be it. So I agree.
We don't need just like a okay
Right.
performance. We just like kind of Miami. You know, Miami was okay. Like
Yeah.
they didn't do bad, but they didn't do great.
Yeah.
You know, we need a solidly good, borderline great performance.
They need a confidence builder
Yeah.
these next 2 weeks. And there's no, guys, y'all know this, and I don't want to, there's no reason that this group of 5 players, whoever they are, Basantis practiced this week. It'll depend if he goes or not, but he's practiced. If not, you got Crownover. If not, you got Fathery. Like, this offensive line should be better than the Auburn D line, the Arkansas D line. They should have good football games these next couple weeks, and they should build a lot of confidence.
I agree.
It's not guaranteed. Who's been the guy, Seth? Or
Can we do that in the next segment?
yeah, and what I want to ask him is
My guy's Damani, by the way. I want to see him
Hmm.
wake up back. I know we're not talking about that right now, but he's got to be the guy that steps up this week in the defensive backfield, because they got a pretty good tight end out of. I guess he's probably the best.
Yeah, their leading receiver, I think, isn't he?
guy
Yeah.
they've got. So
when we come back, I want to ask them which linemen they've been kind of the most impressed with through 3 games.
All right, we'll do that, and we'll get to some.
Incredible coffee machine.
oh yeah, what is it? I like coffee.
I don't know. It's like an espresso,
Oh, I got an espresso.
and it makes. I bought the real fancy milk.
You do your own grounds espresso
No, I don't do that yet. It's those stupid like
cups,
Pods.
big cup?
pods, the big ones though. That I don't
It's
know.
an espresso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Those are pretty good. I used to have one of those machines that you'd have to like put the grounds in, like grind
Oh,
up
yeah.
your espresso beans.
wow, I like that.
It's really good, but just way too much work.
I've graduated.
Way too much work.
My coffee game has elevated. Now I make the ones with I don't do the designs in there, but I got it's like you could buy a $12 milk frother or a $100 one.
What'd you
And I
go
got the
with?
100.
There you go.
And you just press a button and you do it cold, you do it hot, and it's pretty incredible.
Sounds incredible.
If I gain 20 pounds, it might be because of that, but
Try that skim milk, buddy.
I'm trying all these fancy, healthy Nuno milks.
Almond milk.
I just drink my coffee black.
It's like
milk.
almond malt. It's not even milk. It's
Malt.
MAL. I don't even know what that means, but that's even healthy.
MALQU.
How do you milk an almond?
Hey, on the YouTube chat, by the way, we're at the Angry Elephant. Thank you to the Angry Elephant. People are saying that I'm wearing yoga pants. These jeans are a little tight on
Jesus.
camera.
Denim yoga.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. Those are the ones, guys. Now
They're
you know.
jeggings.
When you guys think that I'm too mean, and you can make fun of the giant coffee stain on my pants that I'm sitting here talking to you about my coffee, but
They're a little tight. I didn't realize on camera how tight they look.
but I've told you this for years. You just ignore
When
me.
you stand up, they're not so tight.
They're
See?
very tight.
See, you gotta pull it down.
You got to get those Levi 541s, dude. The flex fits.
The flex
That's
fit.
the only way I roll.
Levi.
Levi 541s.
We-
Athletic
Right.
fit, baby.
Who's taking fashion advice from this guy? I mean, my goodness.
That's not really my thing.
Steve, I was alerted that you are going into the Creek,
wow.
ISD Athletic Hall of Honor
Yes.
tomorrow.
That is
Congratulations.
True. Thank you.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty. Actually, you know, what's funny is a guy messaged me on TexAgs.
that's right.
You know, which I don't get a lot of.
So
DMs
you,
and
if it
stuff.
weren't for TexAgs, you wouldn't have been in the hall.
I would not. Yes, because I would never have known about it or even responded to it.
Hey, Nuno, did you know Steve was an accomplished basketball player in high school too? For one of the all-time
That's right.
legendary Texas high school
It
coaches.
was my first club, actually.
Is that right?
That's actually the reason I moved to Clear Lake. I moved
Yeah.
there to be a basketball player for Bill Kruger.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
And then I was going to quit football and just focus on basketball. And I go in to tell the football coach this. And he, you know, looked at me. He's like, son, how many 6'4" white centers do you see in the NBA? I thought about it for a minute. I was like, yeah, coach, that's a good point.
Sounds like a
I'm
coach.
going to get
Haynes.
football another year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The first time, we didn't find this out till later, but I went back in high school. It was like we had some kind of reunion thing a couple of years later, and it was a Willow Ridge. No, it wasn't even that. It was a football playoff game. It was like Willow Ridge versus Clear Lake. Willow Ridge at the time was still a power from our district. Steve is up here catching.
True.
We should host it here every Friday because this is very convenient.
Isn't it great? The set looks awesome. We're having a good old time here. So if you have questions for the guys, we'll try to get to some of those on the text line at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. But I also got some written questions, and Billy had a tease earlier that I don't think we got into. So we'll get into that here in this segment. But let's go to some of these questions, shall we?
Yeah, shall we?
Question number one: what is a better indicator of offensive line ability? The back of the hair or chest tattoos?
I would probably say chest tattoos. Just my opinion.
I would say
As to what's better?
upper arm hair is a great indicator of
Oh.
a good offensive
Upper
lineman.
arm,
Yeah.
toe
'Cause
hair.
I know a lot of Hall of Famers that with upper arm hair. Bruce Matthews,
Yeah.
hairy upper arm.
Yeah.
Trap hair.
Lomas Brown, hairy upper arm.
Lomas Brown, huh?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. That is true. That's like, I think of like John Matusak. I'm going like way back to the 70s. I feel like Randy White probably had that
You have
upper
to-
arm
You have
hair.
to use, I'd say upper arm hair / tobacco use.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you one of the worst thing that's happened to offensive linemen. I think it's contributed to some of the issues at the position around college football.
Oh wow.
The introduction of the skin tight sleeveless undershirt
Hmm.
that just looks like it just
a
hugs,
compression
yeah,
shirt?
like a compression shirt underneath,
I was
sleeveless,
I was at the forefront of that coming into college
yeah,
football
just
too.
real fleshy, flabby
It's
upper
not-
arms
it's
and
not
a lot of hourglass.
I got into that pretty early. I remember very vividly one time, and I think it was my 9th year with the Texans,
Mhm.
and I was wearing one of those, and I came out, and Kubiak was walking past me. He's like, "Oh my, McKinney, what are you wearing?"
Yeah.
Lord, McKinney. I was like, "Hey, coach."
See, that's what
just
I
hanging out, baby.
It's exactly
Oh.
what I'm talking about. And you're an in shape lineman compared to so many others. And even you had no business. Like,
Yeah, I should have
most
been wearing
people
that.
don't need to wear shirts like that. And these linemen flaunt them around. It's just like, man,
It's disgusting.
yeah.
It's no business at
Ooh.
all.
Seth was he was probably one of the guys that wore like the loose, like cotton,
No,
loose
no.
sleeve T-shirt. You know,
Hey, I was
that
never a
guy.
cotton. I was always the loose, whatever the tight material is. Like Under Armour was just coming out, in A&M. Probably, I don't know, probably came out in '98 or so, and that's when they took us out there in all these tight shirts. I know my freshman year we didn't have them, and your senior year we didn't have those
Mm-mm.
fleshy tight shirts. But after that, it was like mandatory gear. You'd wear these tight shirts. You're just like, feeling self-conscious because we were going through Needham Steed, all right? We're Needham Steed and Coach Grimes is making us go through the little things for
Without
like 10 minutes.
pads on.
And
Yeah.
meanwhile, all the like track girls or whoever's out there, and you're just looking like, oh, pulling your shirt.
The recruits and parents are out there watching it.
It's ridiculous.
Golly. I'll tell you, Nuno.
Yes, sir.
One of the times I thought for sure A&M was going to win a football game was I was in Needham Steed, the weight room back.
That was awesome, by the way. We need to bring that back.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I don't know if anyone remembers that kind of setup. That was
they would
awesome.
warm up in the weight room and the recruits and their families would be in there. And I remember they were warming up for the OU game, but it was the one A&M lost, but they had no business. OU won the national title and Seth and A&M lost that one that day. But it was a hell of I mean, that was the game where that was Ferris, Toombs, Ferguson, Gamble, I think, had an interception. Yeah. So anyway, before the game, they're in the weight room warming up. I just remember it was cut my life into, and it was all loud in there. And I'm like, they're gonna win this damn game. This thing.
You're feeling that. Vibe.
Play that Saturday at the game coming up, to open the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't think anyone else does that. We wouldn't be copying anyone.
I do that, and I do Nirvana.
Yeah.
Smells like Teen
Oh,
Spirit.
that's a good one.
Seth likes that when they play Lukenbach coming out of.
Oh, is that right?
God.
Have we not been through this? That was the worst ever timing and experience for a game day atmosphere song I've ever heard in my life.
That song affected Seth probably more than anything else.
It really did, because it was like in the third quarter, we had just like kicked a field goal versus App State or something. And then it goes to a TV timeout and you hear that Lukenbach. And I was just like, oh,
We're done.
here we go.
Here we've lost. Yeah,
Maybe
gave
that's
up.
diamond ring.
Seth's not. Hey, he's not shy about giving up on the team.
No, you're right.
You're
right about that.
Like he's walked out
That
of
is
games
false.
multiple times.
He stormed out of LSU.
I did not. I came running right
App
back.
State, when Lukenbach came on, he stormed back into the players' lounge.
Let's go to Nuno. This is what happened.
I'm
Finish
sorry.
it.
Nuno,
Nuno,
wrap us up.
talk
man.
to us about who are the O linemen.
Well,
Who's the O lineman that's caught your attention most? So
there we
far
go.
Okay, I honestly,
through 3 games.
I've been pretty impressed with how Zune's been playing. He's been very consistent, very solid. Last year, I don't think people realize how many injuries and stuff he was going through at the time. I'd kind of heard that he was going through some stuff, so I was aware of it. I didn't realize it was bad as it was.
Yeah.
The stuff he was playing through. But I'm telling you, this year he's been very solid, consistent. He's not perfect,
Yeah,
but as far as
very improved.
very improved, so I've been very happy with him.
I've liked what I've seen out of Basantis. I know that
Yeah.
he's been kind of banged up from here and there, and hopefully we get to see a healthy Basantis tomorrow. But he's improved every game, and as a true freshman, what he's doing is unreal. I mean, because you've been a true freshman now trying to play on defense. I was redshirted.
Out of pressure.
So I mean,
against U of H.
Did you?
Yeah. Louisville,
almost.
Louisville, I had a couple tackles.
But he's been doing really
Thursday
good.
night.
And the fact that he is a true freshman and we're going to have him for at least 2.5 more years is awesome.
Well, it's
'Cause he's
exciting.
Yeah.
Zune's second year, Basantis first year, Dewberry second year. The guy I love up front, and you've heard me talking him up the whole offseason. The 2 guys I talked about in the trenches the whole offseason was Naboo. Well, Naboo, Basantis.
And he did a good job last week.
Did he? I thought he
thought
did,
so.
but I want
Solid.
to, the center.
Very solid.
Look, the guy that can play center or guard, and you talk to the guys in the program, they're like, if he had to play tackle, he'd go play tackle too. I think he
That's
is
good.
one of the young guys in the program I'm most excited about. How about him buying a house?
He bought a house.
He used NIL
Mighty
and
good
said,
for him.
I bought my first house and my family moved down here.
That's
Incredible. What a great
awesome.
That's awesome.
Because to buy a starting house,
NIL story.
people are thinking, oh, this guy just went NIL and A&M, he just bought $1 million. No, he probably bought a starter home and brought his family down here with
That's
some
still
NIL
pretty
money.
shocking. I mean, even an offensive lineman, I didn't realize they were getting that kind of NIL money.
That is terrific, man.
Man.
I love it.
The things I could have done in
Right.
college.
Could own 60 McDonald's by now instead of 30.
I'd be retired at this point.
By the way, we're live at the Angry Elephant. Like your politics, love your bar. Find an Angry Elephant near you in Bryan and College Station, where we're at right now, Magnolia, San Antonio. So go check it out. Got another question for the group. This one I think is going to be a quick answer. Why do we not get injury info like the NFL? Anybody want
It's
to?
college football. Like, I don't know all of a sudden why Aggie fans are getting so bent out of shape on the boards, and like they're just looking for a reason to be pissed at Jimbo is what is exactly what this is. And I don't mean the person asked the question. It's an honest question. I mean just the board vitriol and the different group chats I'm on. Coach Fran had a policy. We don't even discuss injuries. And then what happened was they were discussed in the private newsletter every week. But coaches around the country don't. But now LSU's putting out like a weekly injury report like the NFL. To answer your question, I think that's where it's heading.
I have some thoughts on the matter. NFL, you're required to, or you get fined.
Yeah.
And in college, there's no requirement. So why would you do it? I don't think there's any advantage personally. And I mean, as much as I despise the Fran years, I don't disagree with that. There's no need to give away a secret, right? I mean, for real. So I'm keep it in the house.
I agree. Why would you give your opponent ammunition or to practice and prepare for if you don't have to?
Well, and then and every week the media doesn't. It's like it's their job, it's our job, it's your job, and Olin at the pressers to ask the questions.
Absolutely.
But you know what you're going to get. Well,
Right.
then they turn it into, oh, this coach is being dishonest. He's lying. No, it's the coach. Like in a perfect world, he just doesn't want to answer about if Steve McKinney, his starting right tackle's out, so Auburn knows that there's going to be a backup, or if a corner's out and Auburn knows, hey, we're going to be thrown against a true freshman corner, then they do what Miami did. So I understand it. With that said, if you pay enough attention, right now I've said Basantis has practiced. I think he'll be up in the air. I think the corners that were out last week, Javon and Chappelle, have practiced all week. I think Bryce has practiced all week. Evan back. Noah has been in and out. So Noah and Basantis have been kind of in and out guys, but pretty much everyone else from last week that was out should be playing this week. They should be a pretty healthy bunch. I'd be interested tomorrow to see, if 3 is suited up and warming up out there. That would be the one that I think it's wait and see, because he has practice this week though.
So here's a couple questions into one. Why should we have a positive thought about our O-line this week? I'm very positive, but need validation. Followed by, why is Seth so happy? Followed by, why does Steve look so glum?
I'll give you some reasons why you should be positive about the offensive line is because they're young and they've been improving every week. And I have no doubt that they're going to get out there and improve this week as well. And then if we get guys back that were banged up or whatever, that's just another addition to be excited about. So I'm optimistic about the offensive line and how they're going to perform this week. I'm happy because happiness is a choice, Steve. So,
I mean, not all of us remember the Tony Robbins fan club stuff.
It's a good documentary, brother. And let me follow that up with this game in particular. What does it mean in the grand scheme of things, right? Like this Auburn game means a lot because it's the first SEC game, but I think it's the next test that lets you know, did they fix all the issues that we saw in Miami?
I don't think I can emphasize enough how important this game is, honestly. If you can't beat a rebuilding Auburn team with a first-year head coach at home in your 6th year with this roster, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree. And that, as
It's
a
very
fan,
important.
that wouldn't give you any hope, right? So what I like to go back to what I want to see is that if you get out there and the offense just keeps getting better, because the offense is really, really good. Like I'm totally excited and happy about what they're doing, and I have faith that they're going to improve. Defensively is what you've got to see. Like last week, allowing 3 points, that was great, right? But who knows? That's like no judgment over what they did versus Miami. But if they go out and get better against Auburn and we win that game, then I'm back. Like the hope is there. Like I don't know what the SEC short guys are going to do about it, but there's going to be a lot of hope back in Aggie land if our defense can go out there and wake up and do some different things.
Well, this is a good opportunity for them. I mean, I think Auburn's reeling a little bit. I don't think they're, fully healthy. I think they're extremely beatable. I think we match up really well against them. To me, there's really no excuse. I mean, I don't know what you think, Bill, but to me, there's no excuse not to go dominate the team.
And I could see where they wouldn't. I heard the guys yesterday on the fan show. It's like, it's inexcusable not to dominate. And, I'm sure we won't, but it's not inexcusable to me to not dominate any SEC opponent
Yeah,
unless on
I
a,
agree
on a
with
bet.
that.
But I would love to see it. And I do think it's something that, like, hey, if they're playing like they should be playing, they
I
should
think it's-
win that
I
game
think when I say
comfortably.
they should dominate, I mean more of not on the scoreboard, but just control of the game.
Be the better, clear, the
They're
better team. To me, I completely agree with you, but I just want to see A&M win these next two games. And I look at it's. I don't subscribe to the, you have to beat the Mississippi schools every year. You have to beat Arkansas and Kentucky and South Carolina every year because they're not on your level. What the hell are we talking about? Have y'all not watched A&M in the SEC for the last 12 years or the Big 12 for the last? You go year by year.
Yeah.
A&M should not feel entitled that they can go beat anyone. I do think there are levels to it, and I think A&M and Auburn are on a similar plane in terms of the conference hierarchy since they joined, and not coincidentally, they're both 5-6, or I think Auburn's 6-5 against A&M, and almost every one of those games are pretty damn close and competitive. I think A&M and Florida are similar, and I think they're 2-2 against each other. I think Tennessee and A&M, that's kind of the Aggies playing, and we like to think that that's above Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and these, but it really hasn't been.
No.
And A&M hasn't been dominated by them. They're about 500 against them, and I do think that should be better. But I think you take it year by year, not by the logo and who they are.
Yeah.
So you say A&M should be in the top 5 of this conference, and hopefully higher, but at a minimum, be in that top quarter of this league, and then each year, like, somebody can come join you up there. Auburn's not there right now.
Yeah.
And Auburn, you're catching them down. You caught them down last year. So to me, losing to Auburn last year was way more inexcusable than losing to
I'd
Ole
agree with
Miss.
that one.
Yeah, for sure. That was rough.
And even South Carolina, who you'd never lost to. But to me this year, when you get Carolina at home and you get Mississippi State at home in the transition from Leach to Arnett, and they're not looking very good, and you get Auburn at home in year one under Hugh Freeze.
Are we playing State at home this year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you get Arkansas when they're struggling right now. You need to be 4-0 in those games. And I don't care if you win all 4 of them by less than a touchdown. You need to be, and when we look back for A&M to have a successful season in 2023, I think there's no way around them not being 4-0.
Like I'll tell you what, I'm never going to be frustrated after an SEC victory.
No,
that's different than like being frustrated after a ULM victory or whatever. But when you beat an SEC team, it's like, man, great. Let's move it on.
No, a win's a win in conference. I mean, that was the biggest thing we had to learn in the NFL. When you got to the NFL, you come from college, you're used to. It wasn't about just beating the opponent. It was about how much you beat them by.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the NFL, your mind shifts so quickly to just winning by 1 point is all you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just win, baby. Every win is all that matters. Nobody cares. They don't draw a picture on the scoreboard.
But before we hit a break, what if it is that dominant performance we've been waiting for, an LSU-esque, like, this is the team I've been waiting for? Then that sets up for all the things you're talking about, the Arkansas game, the Mississippi State.
It would be really
changes everything.
I think Auburn has more to gain by winning this football game than A&M does. But
sure,
I think what A&M stands to gain is exactly what you just said. If they can go out and play really well, like a terrific offense, Steve, you said, run the football, get that running game going. And if the defense can, even if they're bend but don't break, but if they come out and get disruptive and start making some plays, sacks and turnovers, man, David, we are having a whole different conversation. You're feeling so good about going up to Arlington and handling business. And then you're looking at Bama and Tennessee and the way they've been playing. And then you can start, and it's just, that's the difference between eking one by tomorrow and putting forth an impressive showing. There is a lot to be gained.
Think about this. Think about how I know no one wants to anoint Miami, but think about how good Tyler Van Dyke has been doing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like tore it up against us, and he's been doing it against everybody else. And I guess we'll see a lot in the future from him, but he's I'm not totally ashamed. I don't like what we did against Miami, but I'm not just throwing in the towel over that one game because he's legit.
Well, and you also saw where A&M could have won that game so many different ways.
Very easily.
All right, we're back here at TexAgs Radio live at the Angry Elephant in College Station. Got a good group out here. What's up, everybody? My man from San Antonio showed up at 7:41.
Let's go.
Drove by from San Antonio just to see us and maybe his son as well. Hey, we're going to move things up a little bit because usually we do this in the next segment. We're doing it earlier since we started earlier. Freak of the Week time.
Ooh.
What do we call it? How do we sing it?
It's the Freak of the Week.
Thank you very
Seth's
much.
probably ran out of names by now. A couple guys.
3-3. He's
That's all I know.
Seth.
Well, you want me to go?
Yeah, let him go.
I want to see Reuben Owens go off.
Oh, good
I
one.
do.
Good
I
pick.
was excited to watch him play. I think he's a
That was my
dynamic.
pick last week. By the
Was
way.
it?
Yes.
My bad.
I
Not that you can't repick him,
I thought he wasn't even here.
but he stepped out. Yeah, I was here.
He was here.
Anyways, I'm picking him. I'm
first
excited. He did a great job last week, and I want to see him further that. I know what we can do passing the ball. And if our running game can match what we did last week and exceed that versus an SEC defense, and I have no doubt we can win that game.
I like Reuben Owens, man. He gives me some Eric Dickerson vibes, dude. Like when he figures it out and gets it together, he's gonna be a beast. I believe that.
Good call, Aguado.
Who's yours?
What?
Oh man. Am I not allowed to pick Connor Weigman?
You pick whoever you want.
Freak of the Week.
Yeah, oh yeah, freak of the week. Yeah. No, I think this is a good opportunity for him to really show that he is the best quarterback in the SEC. Right now, he's played it very well, put up some big numbers, but he hasn't done it against super high quality opponents, right? Can we say he struggled a little in Miami? Yeah.
First half.
A little bit, right? Can we put together 4 quarters tomorrow and really have a coming out party for him to America? Because I mean, he's probably the best secret we've got on this team,
and it shouldn't be
America
one.
doesn't really know.
I agree.
I feel like they're starting to.
They're starting to. This could be what really elevates him to, being the guy that they're talking about on the shows as the one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC.
I think it sets up nicely for that if he can have a good game and win this weekend and next.
Yeah.
So you go. It's almost like a buildup, right? It goes there's some buzz. Then he goes, beats an SEC team and performs well. And then you go in the big stage at, Cowboys Stadium, Jerry World, and do it again. In the process, you set up, here comes Bama. There's this A&M quarterback that they're going to have a problem with. And it reminds you of a few years ago.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about Calzada, although it was amazing that day.
I want that result, though.
I'm talking about the other one. So, my guy is going to be, I'm going to stick kind of what Steve's saying and stick with the skill spots. I think Evan Stewart comes back, reminds people that I'm looking at all these SEC receiver stats. I'm going, damn, if he could have played against ULM and he just had a kind of a normal 100-yard game for him. I think he comes back and reminds people that, hey, forget about these little standings because I had to miss a game. I'm off the track in terms of games played, but I'm one of the couple 3 best receivers in this league. So I'm going him on offense. Defensively, I'm going to keep riding the Shamar Turner wagon. And I think he's going to have not 1, but 2 sacks on Saturday.
Love the sound of that.
He's good.
Now it's time for the Sleeper of the Week presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jerry McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic and Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey and in front of the Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. So the website is thesleepstation.com. Steve, we'll start off with you.
Oh man, I'm running out of names now.
Sleeper's always tough.
Let's see. Who's pretty not obvious? How about we go tight end? I don't know, little Jake Johnson action. Jake is really he's really impressed me the last couple of weeks. He's just got such good hands. He hasn't really done anything after the catch yet. I'm hoping we'll see that eventually, but just the fact that he's getting open, catching the ball, quarterbacks trust him. They're throwing it to him in tight windows and giving him a chance to go make plays. So I think having a tight end like him is very critical in a game like Auburn, because I think they're going to try to take away that deep passes and force you to win running the football and throwing the ball underneath. So I think your tight end could be important Saturday.
All right. So
I'm going to pick Layden Robinson because I want him to improve on what he's been putting out there on the field. Like he's a guy that should be doing a little bit better than he is right now. And I think that once he starts playing like he can at every week and things of that nature, then you'll see that offensive line perform a lot better.
He's going to have a good game. I can feel it. It's going to be a big one for him.
William?
Sleeper of the week. It feels weird, kind of like Seth did for sleeper. He picked a 5th-year senior, 4th-year starter, 3rd-year starter. I'm going to kind of, I wanted to pick on you about that, but I'm about to do the same thing. I'm going to go with Tyreek Chappelle.
Okay.
Coming back. Auburn's going to, try to see if they can get something going, throwing down the field. And I think Chappelle's going to get his hand on his first interception of the year. And by the way, those corners, Josh DeBerry, Chappelle, they better tackle this week. That's going to be, and obviously everybody, I'm talking about though, not down the field. That's a must, but I'm talking about run game support as Auburn, like I said, tries to get these edges.
They better tackle that quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing that.
Both of them can run pretty well.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. The corners on the perimeter tackling is going to be a big deal.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with pick 6 when we come back on TexAgs Radio. We're live here at the Angry Elephant. We'll be here until the end of the show, obviously. Chris Budden going to join us at 10:47 on Zoom. Looking forward to talking with her. She'll be the sideline reporter for the game. All right, it's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we're back. TexAgs Radio live at the Angry Elephant here in College Station. The final countdown. Steve Seth McKinney, Billy Liucci, and I'm David Nuno. Gentlemen,
Damn, that looks good.
It smells good.
Dude, I'm killing this breakfast.
What's that called? It's an
I'll get
egg.
you
It's
some
an
of
egg
that, man.
sandwich. It's just a
It's not
fried
basically,
egg.
it's a bacon sandwich. and it
Fried
looks
eggs,
delicious.
about 4 pieces of bacon.
Look at
some
the
sausage.
Grease is just
toast.
oozing out.
You got some
So
cheese
good.
on there?
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
And good
Jelly,
fruit.
some kind of jelly.
Yeah,
There's your hands are on it.
Cheese.
Oh, wow.
It's
That
a full
is just
contact
terrific.
eating over here.
Just you literally yolk all over us. See, this is O-lineman activity right here. That's what I'm talking
Can't
about.
even touch us.
Have y'all
Killing
noticed?
this microphone.
Get the man a napkin.
God, dude, look at this guy.
Headphones ruined.
Have you noticed,
here.
Nuno, that Bronny shaves his arms? That is not an O-lineman
No.
I've
activity.
never paid attention to that.
Yeah, look at him.
You gotta
You were
embrace
making
that.
sure that I don't. Never shave my
don't.
arms or legs.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You might want to shave your legs to get those pants to fit.
That's what he does.
Free up some
He-
space.
I
He
got no
put some, he
comeback.
put some Lubriderm
you.
on it before he gets.
Hey, all right, let's get into the pick 6 because I have no. I usually have a good comeback. I got nothing for you. All right, number 4, Florida State. I admit, I saw it on camera. It looks really freaking tight. Taking on Clemson at Clemson Memorial Stadium, ABC broadcast.
These aren't the tightest ones, by the way. You have those dark ones, are
Dude.
the ones I always mess with you about. So,
And-
guys, they get tighter.
and this is after me losing 20 pounds
Wow.
in the last 5 months. So they were really tight at that point. All right, Florida State favored by 2.5. Let's start things off with Seth.
And they're at Clemson.
Yeah.
Oh
What's
man,
Travis? I mean, what's
Jordan Travis?
Jordan Travis's status?
I think he's go.
Yeah, he
Does
got
he
banged
go?
up.
man, I'm gonna go with Florida State on this. To cover
Oh,
them.
I'm going big Florida State on
Are you?
this one. I think Clemson. I just don't think they're good, man. I don't think they're good. Like an Irish coffee.
Yeah.
It's like Irish. This is an American bar. My Irish coffee there.
Pretty good coffee.
Yeah.
All right, so you got Florida State. Steve?
Yeah, Florida State, man. Clemson's. I don't know what's up with them this year.
I do.
I went with Clemson. I had such a
I was
bad
thinking
week.
about it.
Really?
Yeah, I had such a bad week. I'm trying to
I
find
just
different.
need to flip everything that I'm thinking and
And I was
pick the
1 and
opposite.
5 too. We're all so bad.
We're so bad. And I thought we did pretty well.
We
last
are.
Is
picking
anybody
we are.
above 500? Robinson?
I
I
think,
think
he's
he's
at
at
it.
It's
500.
hard to
No,
pick
that's
against
the
the
only one.
spread right now.
Yeah.
Number
Brutal.
19, Colorado, 3-0 at number
Yes.
10, Oregon, 3-0. That is in Oregon, and Oregon is favored by 20.5.
Oh man, I didn't know the spread was that big. I'm going Colorado. I was gonna pick Oregon because anyways, Colorado's gonna cover that. I think.
I was gonna pick.
No Travis Hunter.
I know, but man,
I was gonna pick Oregon, but Las Vegas with that spread made it personal.
Yeah,
Supposed to say personal.
sorry, my fault.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Colorado to cover that.
Oregon's interesting because I heard somebody on our airwaves
Might have been me.
talking about. No, was it you talking about how good they looked and they're and
might
I'm
be.
like, they've played nobody, like nobody, and then they went to Tech and they almost lost. And I know it's tough to win in love, so they're kind of, the difference right now between like say them and A&M is A&M went to Miami and did lose. They went to Tech, almost lost. Miami's probably a lot better football team than Tech. But I think at home, Oregon with a quarterback like Nix, they win. I'm with you guys. Colorado covers. Shador Sanders
He's good
by himself, I think, could help them cover 20, almost 3 touchdowns.
Number 15, Ole Miss 3-0 at number 13, Alabama 2-1. Bryant Denny Stadium. Bama favored by 6.5.
I'm gonna go with Bama on that one.
Wow.
It's hard.
You know what?
Oh,
I got to thinking about it, man. All the quarterback flip flop that matters so much. All right, I'm going Ole Miss. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I knew you'd take the bait.
I did. I took the bait, but I know. Last time they were there, they played a good team. They lost, and Saban's going to be on top of them.
You know what? Nick Saban, he didn't have all those national championships by accident. When was the last time he lost 2 home games?
I'm not predicting a win. I'm
don't know
just
if it's in
saying
a row.
Probably in
Not
his
in a row.
first. Probably in his first. It would be in a row.
Would it be in a row?
Probably in his first year.
in September.
Probably would be in a row. Yeah. There's no freaking chance that Alabama loses this game against Ole Miss. No chance.
I'm not saying that.
Ole Miss, I think, is a paper tiger. They've played. They played a couple teams with bigger names, but
Missing their
it's
quarterback.
still Tulane talent.
Whoa, Ole Miss is missing the.
No, Tulane
Oh,
was
okay.
missing.
Tulane
Man.
without their star
I was about to
quarterback
make a change.
and barely won, and then they beat Georgia Tech with Haynes, and Haynes looks a lot better this year, but they still Georgia Tech's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, but I think Ole Miss has some things offensively. They got the quarterback, they got the running back. I think Lane Kiffin is so familiar with Alabama. I think Pete Golding is so familiar with Alabama, being their D coordinator right up until this year. I'm going Ole Miss to cover, Bama to win by a field goal. I think this is going to be a really close game, but I think Lane Kiffin gets his legs cut out from under him again. It feels like now he's the only Saban assistant to not
win.
beat him.
That's true. All right, number 22, UCLA 3-0 at number 11, Utah. Cam Rising is supposed to be back for Utah. He hasn't played since January. They're at Utah. They are favored. The Utes are favored by 4.5.
At Utah.
I don't know anything about this game. I'm
Let me give you a little
what's the
education.
line.
So that's not a Pac-12 guy.
Utah favored by 4.5.
Kyle Whittingham,
Here,
Cam Rising, Salt Lake City.
man, I'm fine. I'll go with the favorite.
We got him. Got him. UCLA. I'm going.
I don't know
I'm
anything
going
about it.
UCLA.
Good for
to
you.
cover, maybe even win. I love Rising, but first game back in a while from an ACL.
ACL's 100% recovery. Not worried about it. Even though I didn't even know it existed for this guy. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I'm going UCLA also.
Yeah. All right.
I like their quarterback.
Okay.
Good. Separation Saturday.
It's too early for that.
Somebody
It's a
needs
long
to.
year. So.
All right. 5th game. We've got number 6, Ohio State 3-0 at number 9, Notre Dame 4-0, 6:30. Notre Dame Stadium, NBC broadcast. Ohio State favored by 3.5.
Oh, I'm going OSU. I don't. Well, I take that. He's so good, man. Notre Dame is very good. Were they playing?
They're playing at Ohio State.
Harmon's-
No, excuse me, at Notre Dame.
Oh, Harmon's good. I'm going Notre Dame.
I did too.
Me too.
Notre Dame. All right.
I have to choose Notre Dame. My second school.
Oh, that's right. Steve
my second-
decommitted from Notre Dame.
Oh, Rudy over
Me
there.
and Rudy, we're going to hang out.
He watched Rudy and was like, you know what? I'm committing.
He probably wanted to hang out with that toad. What's his name? The fat political guy, so bad.
Wait, who?
The guy in it, the guy from Swingers and
Vince Vaughn?
no, the other one.
John Favreau.
Favreau.
Is
Yeah,
he a Notre Dame
he's probably
guy?
a big Favreau guy.
You're not a Favreau guy?
Not at all. No.
No.
I,
That's good.
I might be getting him confused with Jonah Hill.
What was the show that Favreau was like the loser, like college kid, and he was forget it.
But Vince Vaughn was in Rudy. Luch, did you realize that?
Yes, I did.
He was the quarterback?
Yeah, because him and Favreau are buddies, and they put him in, and that's why they did Swingers together. And
Okay.
I don't know what movie Favreau was the loser. I'm going Notre Dame at home.
Yeah.
And look, there's a big there should be a big quarterback advantage here for
Sam
when
Hartman.
you're home team with a huge advantage at QB, but what a fun early season
No,
non-conference game
that's a
that
really good
is.
one.
That is.
I hate to give Texas credit, but Texas, Bama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, these are the type non-conference games you want to see. And then we'll
Yeah.
later get to see USC and Ohio, Notre Dame as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Then number 6, Auburn 3-0 at Texas A&M 2-1, 11 a.m. at Kyle Field, ESPN broadcast. The Aggies favored by, on this particular one, 7.5.
I think that's gone up to 9.5,
It has.
which would
I
make
think
it.
it's 8 right now. But anyways, it's 7.5. I don't really care. I think Aggies are going to wake up and recover from their last test, which was Miami, and put a great performance together. I think our offense, what they've been showing, has just been phenomenal. And I think our defense is going to do something different. That's my hope, at least, is that they do something different. Because if they do the same thing that they did against Miami, it's not going to work. But I'm betting that they're going to do something different and go out there and, put some pressure on this quarterback, contain him when he goes out to run. And I think we'll cover.
I'll be interested to see how our defense plays this offense. I don't think we'll blitz a lot personally. I think they're gonna really try to mush rush that quarterback and keep him in the pocket and force him to beat him with his arm. They're not going to let that guy run free unless they spy him. So I still think A&M covers. 7.5 is a pretty good spread, but I mean we're 14 points better than this team. But like Billy said, I mean it's an SEC game. You can't put a whole lot of stock in how much you think you should beat a team by, because everybody knows their opponent when you're playing conference games, and they just play it. It's just different. So I still think we cover it. I'm hoping for a 14-point victory.
Really?
I'm leaning towards like A&M 34-23 type of game. I think Auburn's going to score some. I think A&M's going to score. I think I might be a little high on that scoring, but I do.
For both teams?
Yeah, well, maybe even A&M. Like I'm right on that cover line, and I think a late field goal kind of does it. Like maybe A&M up 31-23 fourth quarter. It's tight. I mean, it's a one-score game, and a field goal kind of lets everyone exhale. And I think 34-23 will be my pick. So I'm picking A&M to cover.
34-23. You got about a minute
It's
and
a
a half.
lot of points. So if I was actually betting,
What's the
and you
over
made
under?
me bet money, I would bet you given Auburn all those points. I would, if it was a money line, I would go A&M all the way. I think the Aggies win this game. I truly believe that. But that spread is, I mean, obviously it's there for a reason, but it's if you said put your money on it, I would be inclined to change my pick, because I think that's a lot of points for A&M to win by right now with the defense being like it is. But I don't think Auburn's offense is built to really capitalize. So I just have a feeling the Aggies win this one by more than a score.
All right, just tackle. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in early.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
very
Hey,
much.
we should do this
Thank
more
you.
often.
We will do it more often.
Steve's getting treated.
You got
Coffee,
coffee and
This is
Great sandwich.
awesome. We're going to hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Radio live here at the Angry Elephant, we're going to talk